Since November 5th, 2020, Josh Barnett and David Jose have carried out a plan in order to change America. The truth is, the cover-up is always worse than the crime. David Jose and Josh Barnett created notices and affidavits of maladministration when no one understood what was happening. They sent out thousands and thousands of affidavits through grassroots groups in order to bring forth a shocking result. They knew they had to wait for all the evidence to come out and to teach the people en masse that they had all the power, and then all the dominoes would fall. Well, today you're getting ready to see how God's smooth stone in Wisconsin shattered the power and strength of the deep state. This story starts out with a woman named Carla and Aaron, who decided to give Josh Barnett and Dave Jose the time of day. They checked everything that we said and started to put a plan into work. Don't just take our word for it. We want you to look at the real affidavits and notices of maladministration used in the process to move the legislature of Wisconsin. Here is the real notice given for the removal of Speaker Voss, sent to the representatives in the legislature. We also sent notices to Branchin to decertify, to call for an audit. We sent notices to Mr. Rantham, who took massive action along with Branchin in order to move the legislature of the state of Wisconsin. Now, understanding that Josh Barnett is a gym owner and David Jose is just a man from the ghetto, it really makes no sense for them to be able to have the ability to talk to government officials. But what has happened is the people in different states have come together and given notice to the government. And then when the government understands the truth behind what is said in the notices, it builds trust and understanding. Carla and Aaron have put together a group of people who came together and put out hundreds and hundreds of notices. The result was Mr. Rantham. I was able to talk to this brave man here. You want to know why? Because this woman and the group of people here and the woman sitting over there did notices and affidavits, and the representative read the notices, realized what the truth was, and took action. And I've heard him say, by God, he's going to do whatever is necessary to help the people know if he... And Branchin and others coming together to stand in the legislature for the people. If you look here several months ago at the top of my screen, you can see that this title says legis.wisconsin.gov, Assembly 59, Rantham Media, 1349, Barnett and Jose rebuttal. Now, the thing that is deep about this document is that it was put in place by Josh and Dave when the government thought that there was no way that the people could decertify. This was put on the public record. This is how you change the nation. Notice at the top it says constitutional authority to alter, abolish, reform, or invalidate unlawful procedures and acts. This document was put out months before Gableman ever did a report. The big takeaway from this document is it shows that the people have the power, when there is crime, to invalidate every proceeding that followed. So we know now today that when you work with the good people in the several states and show them their power, that it ends up a situation where the state starts to flip. The work of the people have made a heavy difference. But the shock wave that came out of this great work is about to be heard in a few minutes. Now, just a couple of weeks ago, we saw some strange reporting. We realized that a man by the name of Bill Barr, who we have waited to stand up and deal with the irregularities and illegalities that happened in November 2020. The problem is that he came out and he said some things that shocked all of us.
Bill Barr didn't think Donald Trump had been the perfect president, but heading into the 2020 election, he still supported him.
There were so many situations you found yourself in. Your name brought up in the infamous Ukraine call, Lafayette Park, the president asking you to go after his enemies.
The tweets.
Why didn't you reach a point where you say, I quit?
Well, you know, after he tweeted and I said he was making my job impossible, I gave it consideration.
You did think about quitting?
Yeah, I just didn't think it was fair for me to do in an election year, so I decided I would just stay through.
Were you not worried about this guy becoming president again?
In this case, in my mind, it was a question of who was the least objectionable candidate.
On election night, Barr was at the White House watch party.
What was the mood there?
I think people were generally optimistic because of the size of the crowds at the end. There was a feeling that he had closed strong.
But in the early morning hours, the mood turned. Joe Biden had taken the lead, and the president went in front of the cameras to cry foul.
We were getting ready to win this election. Frankly, we did win this election.
You doubted that the president would ever admit he lost. You write, in his cosmos, a loser was the lowest form of life. You predicted the loss. Did you predict that he would not accept the loss?
Yeah, I didn't feel he would ever accept it.
Instead, Barr says the president latched on to all kinds of theories about a stolen election, stuffed ballot boxes, rigged voting machines. Barr authorized the Department of Justice to investigate the claims, once again raising questions about his motives, whether he was using the department to do the president's dirty work. Barr says, far from it, he just wanted answers.
I quickly came to the conclusion that the initial stuff that was pointed to, like the Dominion machines and all these other conspiracy theories, were nonsense. This idea of some inner city boiler room where people are cranking out false ballots is a fantasy.
You looked at all these.
All of this fantasy stuff was okay until someone in one of the states told the truth after the meeting last Wednesday.
There was widespread fraud or just a few instances?
I think there was widespread fraud, and I think we are going to see more and more data that comes out as Justice Gableman continues his investigation. But
we looked at, yes, it's a fantasy.
What's true, he says, is that there is no doubt Donald Trump lost the election.
When you actually look at the vote, there's no mystery why he lost. In Wisconsin, he ran 50,000 votes behind the Republican ticket.
In Wisconsin, you don't say. The same place where there was a meeting that showed the people that they could actually take over and decertify because of maladministration.
The Republican Party had a good day in Wisconsin. He was the weak sister on the ballot.
But Trump and his lawyers went on the offensive, spreading claims of fraud.
They conducted themselves in a way that suggests that there was fraud.
President Trump won by a landslide.
And rallying their base to believe the big lie.
Let me tell you, this election was rigged.
Because of the events of the Wednesday meeting, Speaker Vos was pushed to actually tell the truth that there were illegalities and actual actions that would be considered fraud by the evidence he was given from Speaker Gableman and actually the people who were in the meeting. As a private witness, I can tell you that I saw him admit it before he went on TV and said the same. Because of this meeting, the intelligence community and many government officials now know the people are moving to correct all the maladministration by right, and this is what happened.
Just hear the conversation about the laptop from hell?
Yes, I did.
When this was all going down in the fall, did you see what the left was doing with this disinformation campaign? Did you come out and say anything about that?
Absolutely. As soon as this letter came out from these so-called intelligence specialists, the DNI, John Radcliffe at the time, and the FBI, which worked for me, both came out and said this was not the result of disinformation, Russian disinformation. The media ignored that completely. just kept on going with the disinformation line.
I mean, that's pretty egregious. I mean, would you say that there was a conspiracy between big tech, former intelligence officials, the media, the Democrats to, I don't know, let's just use the word rig an election?
Definitely, that definitely made an impact on the election.
Okay.
Now remember, guys, he said the FBI worked from him, right? Who in the world did he prosecute in this whole situation? Who did he lock up for taking actions against the people to deceive them, including people in media? So he's trying to say that he knew the whole time that they did wrong, but just 2 weeks ago, he was saying that this was all fairy tales, it was make-believe. So this means that now William Barr realizes that he is included in the maladministration and that the people are figuring out what's happening. And he knows because of the meeting that went down that everything that he's done is going to be under the microscope and the people are going to be doing the judging. And it's going to be hell to pay if you broke the law.
Suppressing that news. And it's not a question of whether it was criminal or not.
Right.
Just the facts alone were shameful. And most Americans would immediately see what was going on and how repulsive it was. And it would have had an effect.
So now he's worried about the people. Well, what happened Wednesday at the meeting that would cause him to be worried about the people knowing? Was it told to the people that Donald Trump himself got notice from the people? And did he know that the people claimed that there was maladministration in the meeting?
Crazy to me because there was an audit in Arizona, which they said there was never one before. So if there was never an audit in Arizona before, how did we get one? I can tell you that Josh Barnett and I wrote the affidavits and served them at Karen Fann's house and told her, and we also CC'd Donald Trump and ordered him to pick up the ballots, and we could show the documents.
Now, people who know us know that we like to bring the real evidence that we call PCAPs. And when we say we're going to bring it, we really bring it. So if you notice here, this document is Josh Barnett, is from him to Karen Fann. If you look to the right here, it says notice of treason, notice of maladministration, demand for president to enforce Executive Order 13848 and all associated powers, notice of change in contract terms, notice of right to arbitration. So here it is. We are doing an affidavit to Karen Fann, but we're ordering Trump to take a certain specific action, and it's going to be verified. Now, this is Executive Order 13848, Trump's own order dealing with election issues and him being able to step in and take massive action. We also use something else that we will show you that orders Trump to interfere and stand up for the people so that the states could not block them from getting the machines. We can also see here that Arizona legislature and government officials have a duty under Article 7, Section 7 of the Constitution to make sure that all votes are legal. We did not try to prove fraud. We just wanted them to prove to us that the elections were safe and fair. And this is how we got them. So because we know that the cover-up is bigger than the crime, look at this paragraph. Please take further notice that any attempt to prevent the people from having an independent audit immediately will be considered as a trespass and treason against the people if there are not constitutionally granted authority that the above public officials can present to rebut these claims. Please take further notice that there has been an insurrection by government workers to bypass the people's rights and block audits on the machines, software, and processes used to certify an election as using only legal votes. So we knew that they would try to block us, so we didn't care to prove any fraud. We just wanted to openly show that if they did not follow our orders to take care of this situation, it would be considered maladministration. This was 2 years ago that we set the trap, and the people are now waking up, and Bill Barr is seeing something. Now, in the meeting, David Jose clearly told you guys that there was a notice sent to President Trump and he was ordered to get the machines. Well, let's see if that's true and if Bill Barr is seeing his life flash before his eyes. Please take notice that you, President Donald Trump, are hereby ordered to bring justice by using all necessary powers you have to follow your oath as seen in the United States Constitution below. So, In Article 4, Section 4, we show where he has the power to make sure there's a Republican form of government, and we told him that there's an insurrection of government against the people. But what else? We also tell President Trump to take further notice that any denial of protection and maintenance of the people's individual rights is maladministration, treason, and insurrection, even on his part. Now, by this time, Arizona legislature had to be freaking out, and Donald Trump even had to be at the point where he knew he needed to take action and move forward. But don't just take my word for it. Let's check out what this says here as the remedy that we gave them. We let them know that they were committing treason if they didn't do anything, and we also let them know that they could have remedy in this way. Remedy shall be had by giving the people a full audit of every machine used for voting, all associated software, all evidence of any voting fraud, any evidence of dead voters, and any other voter-related items of information that may be necessary to carry out an independent audit. So we actually ordered Arizona legislature to take care of business and ordered Trump to interfere if they did not. But let's see if anybody else knows.
The president was unconvinced. In fact, Barr says he raised the possibility of seizing voting machines.
He said, well, I hear about these Dominion machines in Michigan. Some people think that they should be seized. And I said, there's no way the department is going to seize those machines. There's simply not probable cause.
We can show where we talked to the people in the White House when they had to fight with Sidney Powell. We can show you Patrick Byrne there. We can show you all the events that happened, and we can show you the affidavits and notices that we did.
The issue of criminality is a different issue.
We'll get to that at some.
Seems like now Bill Barr is nervous and he wants to get ahead of the story to make you feel like he's telling you guys that things happened that could have changed the election. The truth is that he heard what happened on Wednesday and he remembered all the things that happened and all the notices that was CC'd and given to him and given to Trump to let them know that it was maladministration, and their boy Voss just let the word out that he knew that things were done wrong in 2020. And now the people know that they can reform government and they're taking over. So he has to let you know that criminality is a different issue. They want to take you guys away from the idea of prosecuting them. Trump wanted to take our direction and he was tricked by attorneys and is now clear. So now they got to go back and cover all their tracks, which is impossible because the people now know that because of maladministration, we can take back the government, the whole government. It's our turn, people. With God, we win. Before we go, let us look at Article 1 of Missouri Constitution, the Bill of Rights. This is a right for all people. Section 3, power of the people over internal affairs, constitution, and form of government. That the people of this state have the inherent, sole, and exclusive right to regulate the internal government and police thereof. That word police coming from policy. And to alter and abolish their constitution and form of government whenever they may deem it necessary to their safety and happiness, provided such change be not repugnant to the Constitution of the United States. Guys, the people created the Constitution of the United States, and it is fundamental that the people have a right to alter, reform, and abolish at will any institution that they created. As of now, we know that even Bill Barr knew that there was collusion and different issues with the media and government officials and the FBI, and he did nothing. We should not let him walk away without responsibility for what it is that he has done. And we should take back control of our republic because it is our right and our duty to protect the body politics that our forefathers have created. With this video is yours. If you wish to learn more, please click the link in the description of this video and go to www.reformmyrepublic.com. www.reformmyrepublic.com. Thank you and have a blessed day.